Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about the first movement of the piece of piano and cello, Op.11 by Anton Webern. He was a composer that's commonly adjudicated to the Second School of Vienna. He was a prominent figure in the Second Viennese School and a devoted disciple of Arnold Schoenberg, under whose tutelage Webern transitioned from his post-Romantic beginnings to the more radical atonal and 12-tone methods. Born in Vienna in 1883, Webern's musical education included studies in musicology, which later influenced his meticulous and structured compositional style. His output, though limited in volume, is characterized by brevity and extreme economy of means, a reflection of his pursuit of purity in musical form and expression. Throughout his life, Webern faced significant challenges, particularly during the Nazi regime, which suppressed his music for its perceived unconventionality. Despite this, his innovations in tone color and 12-tone serialism deeply influenced the post-World War II avant-garde. Tragically, just as his music began to gain recognition, Webern was accidentally killed by an American soldier in 1945. The piece we're going to analyze has various grades of symmetry, to the point that we can say that there is a counterpoint of symmetries. This counterpoint will be in melodies, intervals, notes, rhythms, chord, and form. In terms of melodies, the piece has exactly 10 melodies, with a symmetry axis in the exact center of the piece. The melodies don't have the same notes, intervals, or quality of notes, but they do have the same melodic contour, meaning a descending melody on the cello is balanced with an ascending melody on the piano. The only exception to this are the melodies on the extremes, which have in common that they fluctuate in contour. In terms of intervals, there is a three-note cell that is repeated continually during the piece. The intervals are a second minor and a third minor. Only in two occasions are two three-note cells overlapped, and in only one occasion appears a cell of only one note. How many times the cells appear are presented on screen. Of course, the intervals are reduced to the smallest possible interval. In terms of notes, Webern uses the chromatic scale completely, but not in a systematic way. This creates various groups of 12 notes during the whole piece. When all the 12 notes are heard, he starts again with another group of 12 notes. I think they are not systematized because he allows himself to repeat tones inside the groups. These repetitions are sparse, with 6 repeated notes maximum. These groups of notes are quite transparent in the score, as transparent as the organization of melodies and intervals. All groups have 12 notes, except for the last group, which only contains 9 notes. I think the reason for this has to do with the duration of the piece, as it feels very conclusive after the last 3-note chord. In terms of chords, the whole In terms of chords, the whole piece seems to be punctuated by them. There are 8 chords in total, 2 chords of 3 notes, 2 chords of 4 notes, 2 chords of 5 notes, and 2 chords of 6 notes. These chords are generally presented only in the piano. With 2 occasions the piano chord is attacked while a cello note is already sounding, and in only 1 occasion the chord is completed with a cello note. The chords appear as following. From measures 1 to 3, 2 chords of 5 notes plus 1 chord of 3 notes. From measures 4 to 6, 2 chords of 6 notes. From measures 7 to 9, 3 chords of 4 notes plus 1 chord of 3 notes. The structure of 2 chords of the same quantity of notes and 1 chord of 3 notes is repeated in measures 7 to 9, and in measures 4 to 6 there is a symmetry axis of 2 chords of 6 notes. The first one is the first forte of the piece, and the second one is a piano chord, which is completed with the cello, meaning that they both have qualities that are only seen one time during the piece. Another important thing is that there are only 2 arpeggiated chords, and in 2 important parts of the piece, at the beginning and in the contrasting part in the middle. In terms of intervals, the perfect fourth is repeated in somewhere in all of the chords, which would mean this is an unifying element for all of them. And in terms of rhythm, what caught my attention was the constant use of a metric of 6/8, but it never accentuates the first pulse, which means that it can't be understood as easily when hearing the music. The first pulse always contains either a rest or a tie from the previous measure. In only 2 occasions, something is played on the first pulse. First on measure 4, a key point in the composition, and then on measure 9, but this seems to follow the contour of the melody of the previous measure. I say this because the natural accentuation of the melody doesn't align completely with the pulse. All the previous aspects, rest, interval organization, the melodic aspect, chords and note organization, seem to establish a potent pointillistic characteristic in the music. And finally, 4. I would postulate that although the piece is indeed very short, it resembles a hypercompressed ABA. The first A would be from measures 1 to 3. This section contains 2 melodies, 2 chords with the same number of notes, plus a chord of 3 notes. It starts with F sharp on the cello, and it never goes up the pianissimo dynamic. Cello only plays 3 techniques, arco, harmonics, and with a mute, and there is also an arpeggiated chord on the piano. All these elements can be called structural elements. Part B would be contrasting with A from measures 4 to 6 with the following elements: 6 melodies, 3, 4, 5, which are balanced by 6, 7, and 8. 2 chords of 6 notes. Cello plays double the techniques from part A: pizzicato, arco, glissando, harmonics, sul ponticello, sul tasto. The dynamic goes up to forte in the accelerando. It's the only time that a piano chord attack is complemented by a cello note. And an arpeggiated chord appears on the piano, and the first pulse is also accentuated. After B comes the return of part A from measures 7 to 9. It contains the following elements: 2 melodies, 9 and 10, which are balanced by melody 1 and melody 2 in the first A, 2 chords with the same number of notes plus a 3-note chord. It begins with F sharp on the cello. It never rises up from the pianissimo dynamic. Cello only plays 3 techniques: bow, harmonics, and sul ponticello, and it emphasizes the first pulse. It is important to note that the arpeggiated chord and the accent in the first pulse seem to balance each other, as the work begins with an arpeggiated chord and ends by accentuating the first pulse. And in part B, both of these characters seem to be combined. You could understand section A as more calm and section B as livelier. This can be seen in how section B contains many more elements than section A. Also, the dynamic forte only appears in section B. And that would be my analysis on Webern Opus 11, number 1. On the description of the video, I want to leave a drive folder with the score, which has all of what we talked today. And for next time, I'm planning to do Sofia Gubaidulina's De Profundis. I already have it analyzed, so it would be good to structure a video about it. And that would be all.